We all know that specific panic when someone texts, "I'm 5 minutes away," and you frantically shove clothes into a closet, praying they don't open the bathroom cabinet. But then there's the other kind of person, the one whose home is absolutely spotless on a random Tuesday afternoon, with nobody coming over. Society loves to joke that they have OCD, or praise them for being incredibly disciplined. But if you've ever spent any real time around someone like that, some part of you has probably wondered what is actually going on inside their head. You wonder if they are genuinely at peace, or if this obsessive need for order is a symptom of something deeply rooted in their past. Well, the answer is a bit more nuanced than either of those options. Let's start by decoding the illusion of discipline. Most people view a perfectly tidy house as the ultimate sign of self-control, but for the people we're talking about today, keeping things clean isn't a chore they force themselves to do. It operates below the level of conscious effort. Psychologists use the term internal locus of control to describe the profound belief that your actions directly manipulate the world around you. When you straighten a rug or clear a countertop, you aren't just tidying up. Your nervous system is gathering physical evidence that you possess agency and power over your environment. It's an unconscious mechanism proving that your life is something you can actively manage, not just something that happens to you. And this is where it starts to get a bit uncomfortable, because for a massive portion of you watching, that intense need for order did not come from a healthy desire for aesthetics. It was a mandatory survival adaptation. If we look closely at your childhood, many of the most meticulously tidy adults actually grew up in environments defined by absolute chaos or hoarder parents. Perhaps the emotional climate of your home was so volatile that you never knew what mood would walk through the front door, or you constantly tried to stay out of your parents' fights. In those unpredictable environments, cleaning became your only escape. Organizing your room was the only way you could build a safe sanctuary. You learned very early that while you couldn't fix your family's dysfunction, you could control your immediate physical space to create an illusion of safety.
Which brings us to the scenario you know all too well. You reorganize the pantry at 11 p.m. because something happened and you can't sit with it. You've just had a crushing argument with a loved one, or you're drowning in financial stress, and suddenly you feel an overwhelming urge to aggressively scrub the bathroom grout. This isn't cleanliness. This is what clinical psychology calls a displacement activity. Your brain is overwhelmed by a massive, unfixable pain. The relationship might be shattered, but that dirty kitchen counter is something you can completely fix in under 20 minutes. By shifting your focus to a micro task that guarantees a visible result, you are desperately trying to soothe your spiked nervous system. You are manufacturing a tiny, artificial victory because the real problem is simply too terrifying to confront tonight. What most people miss is that your home is one of the most honest things about you. It is a direct, unfiltered reflection of your mind. We often think of a pristine house as a sign of a perfect life, but quite often, what you organize so obsessively on the outside reveals exactly what you are terrified of losing on the inside. You aren't just wiping down counters to feel better. Your space is the baseline you have established to keep yourself from falling apart. You spend 3 hours making everything immaculate, and you feel better for maybe 40 minutes before that same heavy weight settles right back in. That is because the cortisol running through your veins wasn't caused by the mess. The mess was just where your anxiety landed. You live with this quiet, unspoken exhaustion, maintaining an illusion of absolute perfection because your nervous system has convinced you that if you let even one room get messy, your entire life will unravel. The house knows your emotional state long before you have the courage to admit it to yourself.
This is what every book about decluttering refuses to tell you. You can buy all the storage systems in the world, but none of it will give you peace if you don't address the identity beneath it. Visual clutter genuinely drains your brain's processing power, what scientists call cognitive load. When your environment is chaotic, it actively competes for neural resources, leaving you with less capacity for focus and emotional regulation. That is why a clean room feels like you can finally breathe. But true peace comes when you realize that your worth is not tied to your spotless floors. You do not have to live like a tightly wound spring just to feel safe. If you're exhausted from constantly managing your environment just to keep your mind in check, and you want to finally clear the mental backlog that makes this cycle feel normal, you need a structured way out. I've linked a file 7-day reset bundle in the description and the pinned comment below. It's packed with step-by-step guides and daily planners designed to help you lower your cognitive load, regulate your nervous system, and declutter your mind, not just your home. Check that link to start your reset. Also, if this video made you feel seen, hit subscribe for more psychology secrets. I will see you in the next one.